why is the zone? Now, the beach diet was actually a construct of Prevention magazine, saying, which way is the wind blowing? And this is when it came out in 2002. So really for the first 3 weeks you eat like Bob Atkins. And then you eat like the zone.
So basically the first 2 weeks on Agustin's diet at the South Beach is about 20 grams.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't really tell you that in the book.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's one. I finished a book called, I guess, Good Calories, Bad Calories.
Yeah, Gary Tops.
Gary Tops. Many mainstream dietitians have been telling us for years that a calorie is a calorie, and it's just as simple of decreasing calories in order to lose weight. Do you agree with that?
No. Well, in fact, I said that basically about 12 years before Gary wrote his book. So again, that basically a calorie is not a calorie. That is from the standpoint that the hormonal effect of a calorie of protein is different than the hormonal effect of a calorie of carbohydrate, which is still different than the hormonal effect of a calorie of fat. So we have to look at what will be the hormonal consequences of proteins, carbohydrate, and fat, because it's our hormones that control our life. They control our weight, they control our health, our longevity, our daily physical and mental performance, and our emotions. If we're able to control our hormones, life becomes a lot easier. If we don't, life is a lot tougher than it has to be.
Okay. I think a lot of people that have read maybe your first book, including myself, I think that was the first time I heard the term eicosanoids. What is your
problem? What's my mouth?
What is the Reader's Digest version of an eicosanoid?
Eicosanoids are the most powerful hormones in your body, and they're derived from fat. In fact,
derived from fat.
Without fat.
Is a prostaglandin considered a eicosanoid?
It's one of many hundreds of eicosanoids.
Yeah.
So that if you took all fat out of the diet, what happens to test animals? They die. Now, if you add back certain fats, they live. Now, in the early years, they called this vitamin F. Now we call them essential fatty acids. Why are they essential? The body cannot make them, and the body has to have them to make these hormones called eicosanoids that control every other hormone in your body. So the whole reason I wrote The Zone was not to talk about weight loss or even talk about the impact of insulin on health, but the impact on insulin on making more bad eicosanoids that destroy your health and less good ones that promote your health. So basically, eicosanoids, even though the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1982 was awarded for understanding their importance, today virtually nobody in medicine understands them. Yet if you go to PubMed, where you can access the medical library, type in the word eicosanoids, out will come more than 100,000 references. Yet here's the most powerful hormones known in the medical science. The Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded, has not been retracted to my knowledge. Over 100,000 references, and nobody in medicine can even pronounce the name of these hormones, let alone know what they
How did I do on that one?
You did very well.
Switching gears here a little bit, just to bring it down to earth, as far as I work with a lot of people, bodybuilders. What advice would you have for the bodybuilder who is trying to maintain muscle, lean body mass, and decrease body fat? Is the zone diet appropriate, and does it differ from what maybe the average bodybuilder is doing already?
No, actually, the zone diet is most appropriate because, again, eventually we have to look at what the science tells us. And in a couple of seminal articles published in 2005 in the European Journal of Clinical Investigation, they asked this question. They put active athletes on the diet and matched them with athletes not on the zone diet and asked the question, who performed better? Those on the zone diet, they got stronger, they had better reaction times, they lost more fat, they had better metabolic profiles. So it says that, again, that we're led to believe that athletes need massive amounts of carbohydrate. That's exactly what we're told about how to lose fat. Eat lots of low-fat carbohydrates. But it turns out athletes are just like regular people. But they have a certain need to make more of the chemical energy called ATP. And it's making ATP that's the key to athletic performance and also basically the growth and maintenance of muscles. So rather than taking a massive amount of a big protein shake, you see these poor kids out of high school eating this massive amount of protein shake, what you need is almost an IV drip of protein coming in throughout the day and keeping insulin in a zone to stimulate the synthesis of new protein. And this is the thing they don't get, to say you have to basically treat nutrition with the same emphasis you would treat a drug, at the right dosage, at the right time. And that's why the athletes I've worked with have won 24 gold medals in the last 4 Olympics. They had an unfair advantage, an unfair hormonal advantage over all of their competitors. Why? They basically learned to treat food like a drug and to orchestrate the hormones that would basically make sure their performance at that point in time and space was the best that was genetically possible for them.
Well, I mean, along those same lines, I'm looking at bodybuilders. I've been training since 1979, and most bodybuilders then and still today were ahead of the curve, knowing that protein was more important, even though there were studies back then that said no. They were doing the protein drip every 3 or 4 hours. They were taking in maybe 20, 30 grams of protein. Right. And they were eating fiber-rich carbohydrates.
Exactly.
They were on the zone without even knowing it, right?
Because they were basically using,
I don't know if they were having the good essential fatty acids. I don't know that.
But they were seeing by experimentation of what works. And this is why, there was that dichotomy between bodybuilders and endurance runners. Two very, very different types of dietary programs. And what you're seeing now, basically, they're becoming merged to the central theme. It's saying it doesn't matter what sport you're in. What matters is basically how to control your hormones and basically using those hormones to achieve the goal lies